Welcome to the largest LEP flashlight comparison video on the internet. We have 22 different LEP flashlights ranging from $80 to over $300. And in this video you will learn whether a $300 flashlight performs 3 times as good as a $100 flashlight, which brands use exaggerated numbers, which LEP flashlights are actually the best, and what you should look for when buying your next LEP flashlight. And in the first part of this video, we will be focusing mainly on the smaller LEP flashlights using 18350 and 18650 batteries. And the second part of the video will be focusing on the 21700 battery powered LEP flashlights. So let's get started. The first one is the Lumintop Petal, one of the shortest LEP flashlights, using an 18350 battery. Unfortunately, what I don't like so much about it is the petal shaped beam. And besides that, there are no shortcuts to go from LED to LEP, and you have to run through all the modes to enter LEP. Plus, you cannot turn off the backlit tail cap. For the rest, a pretty good performer. So the Lumintop Thor one looks exactly like the Petal. It throws pretty far for its side, is a much easier UI with just a low, medium and high mode. One thing I don't like so much is the raw aluminum. And of course the tail cap is really bulky. There are no accessories included, and yeah, the battery life is of course a little short. Next up is the Loop SK01S. It is the shortest zoomy LEP flashlight, and one of the few anyway, but it's still a little bit bulky for the 18350 size flashlight. There's 4 ways to relieve your stress. Very impressive for the first light produced by Loop Universe. It includes a battery with USB-C rechargeable. Some cons. The echo mode is too low in my opinion. The lumen claims are exaggerated, and the light in the tail cap cannot be turned off. And last but not least, the front lens is exposed without a cover. The Mateminco FW2, an 18650 tactical style LEP flashlight, protruding tail cap with some lights inside. It also works with an 18350 battery if you have the adapter. Some cons. The UI. As you can see, strobe gets activated too easily. There's no lanyard attachment either. But for the rest, a pretty good, nice flashlight. The Amutorch BT35, kind of my favorite flashlight. I mean, in terms of design. A UI is very simple with only 2 modes, a forward clicky switch. No sharp edges or anything, and a very easy UI, high and low. One thing that I don't like so much is a very short runtime, and also it doesn't reach the claimed output nor the beam distance. And perhaps they could add a lanyard attachment somewhere. The Lumintop Thor 2 version 1, unique design. Not my favorite, to be honest. It has a lit tail cap, as you can see, lots of lights over there. There's no accessories included, and the other thing I don't like about this flashlight is the not dedicated 18650 battery tube. So it's basically an 18350 plus extension. Lumintop Thor 2 version 2. Finally, a dedicated 18650 battery tube. Throws pretty far for its size, has a lanyard attachment. It can accept long 18350 as well as 18650 batteries. The cons, it's a little bit too easy to activate strobe. Lights in the tail cap can be turned off. The last one of this bunch is NEXTORCH T7L. As you can see, it's built and looks very nice, very high build quality, plenty of throw, at least according to specs. Some of the cons include the price. It was really expensive, and the output drops quickly, and the proprietary charging system. I think a USB would have been a better choice. So now it's time to compare these 8 small LEP flashlights in terms of lumen output, candelas, and beam distance. So in this screen we have 2 outliers, so to say. We have the Loop SK01S. This is supposed to be the brightest in terms of lumens, and the Lumintop Petal, which is the least bright with only 250 lumens according to specs. But we don't trust specifications, do we? And here are the actual measurements. And as you can see, the Lumintop Petal isn't doing that bad. The Loop SK01S, not too good. So now let's put them in order from worst to best. So here we have the least to the best performers. And as you can see, the Loop SK01S is supposed to be like 910 lumens, but only produces 265. Lumintop Petal isn't doing too bad, to be honest, with 291 lumens. But from these 8, the best performance in terms of lumens is the NEXTORCH T7L. Hold on. Lumens aren't the most important factor when it comes to LEP flashlights. The most important thing when it comes to LEP flashlights is the beam distance, or the candelas. So what we just learned is the advertised output isn't so trustworthy, and how about the candelas? So here we have the same list again in the same order, but then with the advertised candelas. In this screen, the NEXTORCH T7L with the most lumens is advertised as one of the least far-reaching LEP flashlights. And this is the actual performance in terms of candelas. And this is very interesting because the second worst performing flashlight in terms of lumen output is the Lumintop Petal, and right here in this overview it's not doing that bad. So the 2 clear winners are both Thor 2s. This is the version 1 and this is the version 2. The version 1 performs better than the second version, so if you can find the version 1, if you want to have the maximum output for 18650 battery, this is the one to get. So and here's the same overview, but then ordered in terms of performance. And as you can see, the Lumintop Thor 2 version 1 is the best performer in terms of candelas. But wait, there is more to the story again, because candelas is not the same as distance. When it comes to candelas, 4 times the candelas is double the beam distance. And here we have the beam distance, the same order, but do you think these are trustworthy? These are the actual measurements. Are you surprised? And this is the final overview where you can see the worst to the best performers. And now let's take a look at the Beamshots. But please keep in mind that the Lumintop Petal was recorded on a different day, so the quality of the video is a little different. that's still one part of the story, because we haven't looked at the actual performance over time. So imagine you will turn on a flashlight and it will drop like within 5 seconds. What's the point? So let's have a look at the runtime graphs of these 8 flashlights and see how they stack up against each other. If you look closely at this graph, there are a few surprises. First of all, if you just use your flashlight for 5 minutes in a row, you can't beat a Lumintop Thor 2 version 1 or version 2. But if you look after 5 minutes, this is about 5 minutes over here, there is a Thor 2 version 1 still beating the rest. However, look at this orange graph. This orange graph is the Mateminco FW2. It's about like $100, $120, I believe, and it's the second best performer after 5 minutes. So if you are looking for a flashlight that you will use for, at least 5 minutes, definitely consider the FW2. There is a con though, because it activates strobe a little bit too easy. Another thing you will notice, the pedal over here. The Lumintop Petal, it's only 18350 battery, so it's much smaller than an 18650. But after 5 minutes, it drops to pretty low. Not that bad, but it's not that good either. And below that is the Thor 1. This one, it's a smaller sibling. And below that is the NEXTORCH T7L. So even it has the highest output of 500 something lumens at turn on or after 30 seconds. In terms of throw, it's not doing the best. And if you just want to have the longest runtimes, you can beat the Lumintop Thor 2 version 1, version 2, and the Amutorch BT35, which is a nice, small and cheap flashlight as well. That's it, folks. As you can see, not all flashlights are equal, so please let me know in the description which one you like the best. And if you like this video, please do me a favor and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video. And now it's time for the little bit bigger 21700 battery powered flashlights. So let's get to it. It's the same story. We will check the lumens, we will check the candelas, we will check the beam distance and compare them to the specs. In this previous part, with the smaller LEP flashlights, we learned that lumens doesn't always mean everything. And even candelas doesn't mean everything if you look at the whole picture, especially when you look at runtime graphs. So this time we are going to compare the same batteries but different lens sizes, and we will also learn if the lens size has any influence on the performance. And at the end of this whole video, we are going to compare all of them. So the first up is the Acebeam W10 Gen 2. It comes with 2 color filters. It only has a 1 mode. It has an electronic switch. It comes with the battery 21700 5000 milliamps. It has USB-C charging on board, and it has a cool looking attack bezel. The bad things are it doesn't have a lens protector, so the bezel protects, for the rest nothing. And it doesn't come with any lanyard attachments. So next is the Fenix TK30. It's their first LEP flashlight. It comes with a lanyard and a holster. It also includes a battery with USB-C port, so you can charge the battery whenever you want or wherever you want. It does have a lens protector, and it has a side switch, so you don't need to change hand position. It has a forward clicky, so you can do some signaling and Morse coding. The bad things, not so many. It doesn't have any onboard charging, and that's basically it. And next is the Fenix HT30R, the successor of the TK30. It throws much farther. Mine reaches over 1670 meters. It comes with a 21700 battery. It also has onboard USB-C charging. The great thing, it has a lens protector. It also has a dual switch design at the rear, as you can see. In the overhand position, you have instant access to strobe. It also has a 4-clicky switch, so you can do some Morse coding. The only real negative is the price, but you can still use our 20% off discount coupon code. The Jetbeam M2S WP-RX. The good things are it comes in a hard case. All parts are not glued, so you can have access to all the internals. Another good thing is it throws much farther than its successor. What I don't like about this one, it has exaggerated claims, both on the manual and website, and they don't even match. Next up is the Jetbeam M2S Raptor. Beautiful light, really beautiful. A nice build quality as well. It comes with a magnetic control ring for changing modes. It does reach the claimed output, or at least a beam distance. There is, however, a strange bluish ring around the beam, as you can see. A quick drop in output, and the control ring doesn't show the current mode, and quite poor performance. The Lumintop Thor 4, great price by the way, hybrid flashlight with LED and LEP. Simple 3 clicks to switch between those two light modes. That has onboard USB-C charging and comes with a power bank feature. The bad things are exaggerated runtime claims and no regulated output with the LEDs. The Maratac DX Reach Revision 2 at $149, pretty affordable. It has 6 slots for turbo glow sticks. A very nice and simple UI that I like a lot, only 2 modes. It has a hidden strobe feature in case you like strobe. The negative things about this is the totally exaggerated specs in lumen output and beam distance, and no special accessories included. The Mateminco FW3, a $124 flashlight, which is very affordable for an LEP flashlight. It's in hybrid, so you get LED and LEP, and for the LEDs you can choose between orange, red or white while you're ordering. The things I don't like about this FW3 is the very bad UI. You cannot switch between LEP and LED without running through all the modes. What I also don't like is the exaggerated beam distance claimed. The Natfire SF2, it's only $75 or about. If you use a discount code, it might be even a little bit cheaper. It's one of the most affordable ones. It has multiple modes, has a 5000 milliamp battery built in. Great value for what you are getting actually. The bad things are, oh man, the UI. There's also no protective lens, so once you scratch a convex lens, you basically have to find a replacement. Quality control is also questionable. Mine performed way worse than other reviewers. And the battery is built in, and it has pretty slow charging. The NEXTORCH T10L, one of the most beautiful LEP flashlights I have held. Great build quality and nice finish. It comes with a stainless steel bezel with 3 very strong nano ceramic balls. Optional accessories are available that includes a tactical ring and holster. It also includes a 21700 USB-C rechargeable battery. It also has a unique control ring and switch design. The downsides of this is the pretty high price and the max beam distance, which isn't that great when you compare it to the much cheaper LEP flashlights. The Olight Odin Turbo with a very easy UI. It has a dual stage switch where you have a long press and a short press work differently. It also includes a high quality 5000 milliamp battery with proprietary magnetic charging. It also is one of the very few LEPs that are made for weapon mount use. A pretty good performance, and if you want to get discount, you can always use our special 10% off at Olight store. The things I don't like about this, as you can see in the videos, it has a pretty green beam. And besides that, a pretty good offering, except for the beam quality. The Tank007 PTL01, it's the only LEP flashlight they make. It has a dual switch design, which is really great, so you don't have to change hand position. Plus the side switch has also a standby mode. It comes with a 21700 battery, but you can also it also accepts all other 21700 batteries, long and short. It also has a pretty nice beam and no parasitic drain. The things I don't like about it is the size. It's pretty long, and the initial price for Europe is over 400 euros, but in the US over $300. The Weltool W3 Pro, a very well made LEP flashlight with lots and lots of aggressive knurling, great for tactical use in the overhand position. It also comes with a very high quality 5000 milliamp rechargeable USB-C battery, and also includes a lens protector in the package. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, charged a little bit slow, and it didn't include any other accessories like a lanyard or a holster. The Weltool W3 Pro Tac, same great build quality as the W3 Pro, also come with the same type of high quality battery. No lens cap included this time, and this is the most powerful LEP flashlight with over 1000 lumens. At $298, it's a little bit on the pricey side. It's charging is still slow, and there are no accessories included, just like with the W3 Pro. Before we move on to the comparisons, let's have a look at some beam shots. So I have the list ordered by price. The cheapest, the SF2, the Natfire, all the way up to the NEXTORCH T10L. So in this list, you can see that the Weltool W3 Pro Tac is the most powerful. So let's see if it is actually true. And the lowest output performer, according to specs even, is the Mateminco FW3. And here are the actual measurements after 30 seconds. Still in the same order. As you can see, the Weltool W3 Pro Tac has the highest output, and Natfire SF2, the cheapest one, also has the lowest output. Is that really important? And before we dive into the more important stuff, let's take a look at how they compare against their specifications. Some outliers, the Maratac DX Reach revision 2 is claiming much higher numbers than the actual measurement. Really sad. And the same goes for the Jetbeam M2S WP-RX, the older version. It's also not performing as good as they say. As you've seen in the first part of this video, lumen output and candelas aren't equal. So here again, the Maratac DX Reach revision 2 is supposed to reach the farthest. And the second one is the Jetbeam M2S WP-RX, the older version. In the previous slide, they didn't perform as expected. Here are the actual measurements taken 30 seconds after turn on, according to the NCFL1 standards. The funny thing is, the Natfire, as you can see in this slide, it's not doing too bad. It's 347,600 candelas. It's not as good as they say. The Fenix HT30R, which was supposed to do 600,000 candelas, mine reached 700,000 candelas. The Weltool W3 Pro Tac, which I think was supposed to be like the third on the list or the fourth on the list, and it's doing pretty well. So it has lots of lumens. It's the brightest LEP flashlight that I currently have, that's currently in existence. But it's also doing 583,000 candelas. So I moved myself a little bit up, so now you can see better what the numbers are, especially for the Fenix HT30R. From this list, the Fenix is doing the best. The second best is the Weltool W3 Pro Tac. Then we have the Acebeam W10 Gen 2. I told you in the beginning of this video, some of these flashlights are not available anymore, but they might be available still secondhand or at specific shops. If you can get them, they might still be worthwhile getting. Some of them perform really good. And in this list, I still have them ordered in the same order, but here you can see how many flashlights use exaggerated specs. The biggest one over here, the Maratac DX Reach revision 2. I mean, it's lying. The same goes for the Jetbeam M2S WP-RX, which was supposed to do 800,000 candelas, and it only does like 345. The NEXTORCH is doing better than advertised. Same goes for the Weltool W3 Pro Tac, Acebeam as well, the other W3 Pro, the other Fenix as well. This is very close, which is interesting. The Mateminco FW3 is also not performing according to specs. And for some of you, it's difficult to understand candelas. So this screen shows the distance in meters. You can see that the Jetbeam M2S RRT Raptor is supposed to have 1,000 meters distance. The next up is the Olight Odin Turbo, a weapon mount light. You can see the actual beam distance in meters after 30 seconds according to NCFL1 standards. And here is the overview again with the advertised versus the actual beam distance measurements. And the following brands were exaggerating quite a bit. At the top, the Natfire SF2, same goes for the Mateminco FW3, the Maratac DX Reach, and at the bottom of the screen you can see the the Jetbeam M2S WP-RX. Let's have a look at the same graph, but then ordered from the worst to the best performers. And in this list you can see ordered from worst at the top to best at the bottom. The cheaper ones are at the top, which is kind of the worst, and the more expensive at the bottom. But this is still not the whole story. I'm going to show you how they perform over time, because that's really important. Not many people are using the flashes for only 30 seconds. So let's take a look. And here are the runtime graphs. At the bottom you can see the time in hours, and on the left hand side you can see the candelas. So there are some interesting observations in this graph. The top performer is the Fenix HT30R. For over 2 hours. It's the winner. It's clearly the winner from these 21700s. Later, I'm going to compare all of them, the smaller to the bigger. And again, there will be some very interesting results. The other one is at the bottom, the Jetbeam RRT M2S Raptor. It's performing the worst. This is the same as the Astrolux WP something 1 or 2. And there's another interesting observation when you actually test flashlights. It's so important. Don't trust specification. For example, in this graph you can see this little blue line for the 30 minutes like increasing. I'm going to tell you what it is in the next part. Over here I zoomed into the first 30 minutes. So at the left over here, you turn the flashlight on and keep using it, and after 30 minutes, this is what they perform. Of course, again, the Fenix HT30R is at the top, as expected. But if you only use your flashlights for like 2 minutes at a time, the Weltool W3 Pro Tac is like second best. We have the Acebeam W10 Gen 2. It's not available anymore. You can find them probably second hand. The T10L, also very good performer for the first 3 minutes only. And then you can see it drops this darker line over here below many competitors. If you're going to use them for only like 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, you can look at these over there. Those like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you use them longer than just a few minutes, some of them, they drop pretty quickly. And the biggest surprise from this graph, I think, is after about 7 or 8 minutes use, this blue line. The surprise is this is a Natfire SF2 with my own measurement. The quality control isn't really good on this flashlight, but it performs pretty good. It can reach pretty far for, let's say, about 20 minutes before it drops. If you use it for longer than 7-8 minutes, to about like 20 minutes, the SF2 is pretty good. The reason, okay, I'm going to reveal a secret, is the size of this convex lens, which is quite a bit bigger than the Lumintop Petal, for example. So the bigger the lens, the farther it really throws. But it's important to understand how well a flashlight performs. So we're almost done, and now we have to compare all of them together, from the smallest to the biggest, from the cheapest to the most expensive, and see how they compare and what influences the performance. And here we have all 22 LEP flashlights. This chart shows just the lumens, and as you can see, the Natfire SF2, which is the cheapest, is also at the top as kind of the lowest output in terms of lumens. Not that very important. And at the bottom we have the Weltool W3 Pro Tac, the only LEP flashlight, single cell, single LEP, that can produce over 1000 lumens. I'm not kidding, this is the only one. But again, lumens aren't that important, so let's jump over to the candelas. And here you can see the beam intensity in candelas. Things are shifting a little bit, as you can see over there. At the top, there's not the Natfire SF2 anymore. It's a Jetbeam M2S RRT Raptor. As you can see, it's only doing 248,000 candelas. The top three, when it comes to maximum beam intensity, are the Lumintop Thor 2 version 1, the version 2, the Fenix HT30R, and a Weltool W3 Pro Tac. And this is the same overview with the same order, but then with beam distance in meters. So please have a look, because maybe your next LEP flashlight is in there. Then there's one more thing I wanted to have a look at, and that's the diameter of the lens. In this overview, you can see that the ones are ordered by lens diameter, all from 24 millimeters to 35 millimeters. It is pretty clear that the larger the lens diameter, the farther it can throw. But the Natfire SF2 is using the third largest lens diameter. Doesn't throw as good as the fourth largest lens diameter, the HT30. This one outperforms the SF2 by a fair margin, but of course it's also like 3 or 4 times the price. So if you want to take a look clear, so please pause this video, have a look at this graph, and if you have any questions, let me know in the description. And here we have all 22 LEP flashlights, runtime graphs in terms of candelas. And on the left hand side you can see the winners. After, let's say, like 5 minutes, this yellow line is clearly the winner. That's the Fenix HT30R. The second one, let's say after 30 minutes, that's a Lumintop Thor 2 version 1. It's not available anymore. I guess you can still find one secondhand. There are a few cons with this, so please read the full review on onelumen.com. and decide if this is what you're looking for. And it's also important to take a look at the first 10 minutes of the runtime graph, because some people only use flashlights for like 5 or 10 minutes. As you can see over here, for the first 1 minute, and the Thor 2 version 1 is still the best. Second up is the Thor 2 version 2, then the Fenix HT30R, then the W10 Gen 2 Acebeam. Just below it is a NEXTORCH T7L. So still not very bad. The T10L, I'm sorry, this is a T7L, and then those are pretty close, like the Fenix TK30. I just want to show you the worst of here is a Loop SK01S. Maybe you remember it from the first part of this video. It has a pretty big diameter front lens, but it's not performing that well. So imagine you will use your flashlight for 5 minutes in a row. Still the Lumintop Thor 2 version 1, the version 2, the Fenix HT30R, but here things are changing a little bit. So the Acebeam is still the fourth, but next up is the Mateminco FW2. It's somewhere over here, this one. So it's still not pretty, still not bad. I like the UI as well, it's pretty easy. There you go, the first 5 minutes, those are the top 5. You can see after 10 minutes, the Fenix HT30R is kind of roaming the world. It's performing the best. The second best is the Natfire SF2. Very interesting. The Natfire SF2 is doing pretty good, and not in terms of output, but beam distance. Then you have the Thor 4. Olight this quite a bit as well. So make sure you buy it at the correct place for a nice discount. You can use our discount coupon in the description. The next one is the Olight Odin Turbo. It's a weapon mount light, so it's a little bit different than the rest, and it's also not available anymore. But here you have it, it's performing pretty well after 10 minutes. Then the Lumintop Thor 2 version 1. And last but not least, the Mateminco FW2 again. See, it's very important to know your specific use case. If you only use a flashlight for 10 seconds, for 30 seconds, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, the recommendations will differ from the flashlights that you want to use for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So that's a lot of useful information, I think. I hope you learned something in this video. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit notification bell. So next time I post a video, you'll get notified and you'll be one of the first to watch. Please let me know which LEP flashlight you have and you enjoy, which one you bought, and all the good stuff. Please let me know in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.